by saying that, well, I just need this body as a basis for the mind, then this is again refuted by saying, why confused mind do you not hold onto a clean wooden form rather than this filthy form, filthy body? Just what is the point of having this putrid, dirt filthy machine? Okay? So when you hear things like that, it's not saying that you are horrible, you are hopeless, you are dirty, but it's simply analyzing the state of your body, saying that if you look at the nature of body itself, there is really not much to be admired. But if you use it properly, then this very body, ordinary body with fragility and so forth, once you cultivate love and compassion, then this body itself becomes a basis for cultivating bodhicitta, basis for achieving enlightenment. So in that way, it is useful. But without properly using it, if you use it the wrong way, then there's not much sense. That's what he's saying. So if you do a little bit venturing and look at the actual reality of the body, then he says, first of all, mentally separate the layers of skin from the flesh. And then with the scalpel of discrimination, separate the flesh from the skeletal frame. So in this way, you open the body and see what is there. And having split open even the bones, look right down into the marrow. While examining this, ask yourself, where is its essence? If even when searching with such effort, you can apprehend no essence, you will not find any essence, then why with so much attachment are you still hurting the body now? So this is what I said earlier, right? In terms of the nature of the body itself, there's really not much. And in fact, I read one book. I think the title of that book itself is called The Body, right? So there somebody did an experiment, all the substances that is needed to make this body, and he found basically you can buy all the ingredients from the market by giving something like $5,000 or something like that. So among the body there are some which is really difficult to find, a little bit more costly, but more or less you can find most of them. But then the interesting thing is just by putting these chemicals and other ingredients together, you can't produce a human being. So that is the interesting part, you see. Right? So this is exactly what he's saying. Beauty is skin deep, ugly goes all the way down. This is what they say. If even when sitting with such effort you can apprehend no essence, then why with so much attachment are you still guarding your body now, this body now? So he's saying, make this body useful. Make this body useful. And even if I don't talk about spiritual practice, even in terms of just maintaining your health, you need to work a little bit. You need to do a little bit exercise. Then strength will be there, stamina will be there. If you just don't exercise, remain lazy, spending most of the time sleeping, then strength will be gone. You see? So whether a young boy or young girl, you need to do some exercise. Maybe you need to learn a little bit karate, kung fu, a little bit martial art. Good for you. Good for you. His Holiness himself encourages such physical exercises. Once His Holiness was giving this, I think, cultural initiation in Australia. I was then the translator. And one Korean guy who listened to the teaching liked my translation, and one of the days after teaching, he invited me for a dinner. So when I accepted his dinner and we went for the dinner, he said he's a Aikido expert. Aikido is like, it's not like judo, karate, something mixture, Aikido. He said he's expert in that. At that time, I think he was nearly 50 or something like that. And he teaches the American Marine, what do you call it, Marine, yeah, just Marine. Right. So he offered that if it is useful, I can come to Dharamsala and teach His Holiness security personnel. So when I informed His Holiness, His Holiness said, very good, invite him. So he came, he taught, even after 50, his technique is so good, just the toughest guy, he can just throw like that, if you know the technique, you see. So what I'm saying is, it's not necessary that you become an expert, but it's very useful for you to defend. You never know where are you going to go. You never know when somebody will come. So unless if you have some capacity to defend yourself, self-defense, right? And in fact, they say many of these martial arts originated from Buddhism. There's a story of a teacher who was sending his students somewhere, and then on the way, the robbers and thieves, they always trouble them. Then the teacher, suggested to start martial art. There's a long story. So earlier we had some Japanese expert coming to the library, trying to discover that old text where all these martial arts are being taught, things like that, you see. So the point what I'm saying is, as I mentioned earlier, we came from animals. Animals like dogs, how fit they are. They are very fit. Because they have to always, the animals, they always have to go around hunting for food, you see. There's no market for the dogs and lions and tigers. So you can say, I need my breakfast, I go and then buy, it's not there. So they have to search and hunt, so they are physically very fit. So we had inherited that brain. So therefore, a little bit active is very good for your brain. Right? Right? So therefore, to be able to remain healthy, to be able to do Dharma practice, to be able to, protect yourself, to be able to serve the family, physically also you need to be strong. So next retreat will be martial arts. So then why with so much attachment are you still guarding the body now? Because what use is this body to you? If it is dirty inside, so unfit for you to eat. If its blood is not fit for drink, and if its intestines are not fit to be sucked, at the best it is only fit to be guarded so that later on you use it to feed the vultures and jackals. Are you protecting for them? Truly, this body of human being should only be employed in the practice of virtue. So if you keep on doing, your mind will remain fresh. If you remain active, rolling stone gathers no moss. You know that saying? Rolling stone gathers no moss. So like that, if you keep on doing, you will remain active. And I have noticing this because now I don't say I'm hopeless, but I'm bored. So whenever I have some pain, I do a little bit exercise, whether it's knee or whether it's leg, then I become fine. Just a little bit exercise helps you, right? Okay. Because unless you use it, he's saying, but should you instead guard it with attachment, then what will you be able to do? When it is stolen by the unsympathetic Lord of Death, the Lord of Death will say, come, come, come. Right? Come. And then given to the dogs and birds. Even in the case of a servant of the house, if the servant is not working, why should you give him salary, give him or her salary? So therefore, verse 68 says, if servants are not given clothing and support when they are unable to be employed, Then why do you exhaust yourself looking after the flesh alone, when even though caring for the body, it goes elsewhere. So he's saying that basically this body, is it useful to you? You've been looking after this body for so long, giving breakfast, lunch, dinner, washing the clothes, washing the body, doing some exercise, so many things you do for this body. You're doing everything for this body. But what this body has given back to you, आपको क्या मिला? हाँ? इतना पूजा करने के बाद भी इस शरीर ने आपको क्या दिया? Just as we don't give salary and other gifts to the servant who doesn't do his work, so similarly you don't give anything to your body if it's not useful. So make it useful. Make it useful. That is what he's saying. Therefore, now verse 69. Now having paid my body its wages, I shall engage it in making my life meaningful. But if my body is of no benefit, then I shall not give it anything. I should conceive of my body as a boat, as a boat, as a boat, a mere support for coming and going, and in order to benefit all others, transform it into a wishful, clean body. The same fragile, not so clean body, if it is filled with love, filled with compassion, filled with bodhicitta, you will become the object of offering, object of respect, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Whether somebody respects you or not, but you will be really happy. Therefore, see, so beautifully explained. Verse 71 said, therefore, now while there is freedom to act, this translation is a little bit wrong. It is not saying while there is freedom to act. It is saying that now give some freedom to your mind, out of the body, speech, and mind, right? By cultivating these positive counter forces against the negative deeds, give freedom to your mind to act. And with this freedom, whenever you meet somebody, smile at them. I should always present a smiling face and cease to frown and look hungry. मुंह लटका लटका के मत बैठो बोला नहीं. And cease to frown and look angry. I should be a friend and counsel for the world. So generally speaking, you should carry this smile on the face, should have this welcoming expression. But again, it depends on the situation. To some people, if you smile, they'll take it negatively. Yeah. So you present yourself to be believed. So generally, but then depend on the situation, right? I should desist from inconsistent moving around chairs and so forth, as well as from violently opening the door. I should desist. So that means whatever you're doing, do it like quietly. And don't move the chairs and tables as if the chairs are tables down. Go violently, don't do this. You carry forth all your activities like the cat. When the cat is after the mice, it will never I'm coming. Yeah. And if you do that, then the rat will run away, right? No. They go quietly and then catch it. You watch the animals, all tigers and lions, especially lions. Like, they catch it. they don't go announcing they are coming. The stork, the cat, and the thief never announcing they are coming. By moving silently and carefully, accomplish what they desire to do, the Bodhisattva too should always be kind. This is saying that when you practice, you should be skillful like a cat, right? With respect, I should gratefully accept unsought words of benefit, that wisely and that wisely advice and what's it? That wisely advice, that wise advice, that wisely advice and at all times I should be the Google of everyone. So that is basically saying if somebody with good motivation give you good advice, then you should accept it. It's very kind. Even if you know it doesn't have to say it, but realizing that this person is saying this to me with you should say thank you and respect it. Don't say, who are you telling this to me? I know this already. No? Don't say things like that. I should say, well said to all those who speak Dharma. Oh, anybody, they should say, good, well said. Shabash, Dali Maru, Popo Dali. And if I see, and if I see someone good, I should bless him and well pleased. Right? I should discreetly talk about the good qualities of others and repeat those that others they found. If my own good qualities are spoken about, I should just know and be aware that I have them. So that means if you want to praise somebody, don't praise them in front of my and to show your sincerity, you should praise them in their way. So that means you are really supporting them, you are really praising them. Sometimes if you praise them in front, sometimes maybe it's flattering. You see, many people are very good in ah, good, no, you are isn't there. Some people they are saying sincerely, but others they have the habit of flattering. No? They are very good, like politicians do that. अब से आजकल दुनिया में है ही नहीं अब से सिंपल कोई है ही नहीं. Right? I should discreetly don't press good qualities behind and repeat those that others around means if somebody is wonderful, right? Don't say, yeah, that may be the case, but I think we have to say, if somebody praises somebody, then you say, yeah, that may be true, but that means I know many of the outsides. Don't say that. This person may have many faults, but here I know we are talking about his good qualities. We are not talking about his good. If you are at all interested in talking about his faults, then right now we are talking about good things. Even if we should say, so that's how we thought about. Normally we don't like somebody, we never say anything good. Only the one party completely criticizes the other criticizes. None of them are able to say or share the good qualities. So that's why they are always right. And if someone else is qualities, then don't become arrogant. You should either think, oh, I did not think about it. I also have some good qualities. This other person highlighting me. So that way you should feel happy, but don't get arrogant. Another even better way is if somebody praises about your good qualities, praise this person. This person really knows what is good, what is instead of being arrogant, right? All deeds of others are the source of joy. That would be real if it could be true. Why should we have joy in the good things that are done by others? Right? So in this way, when you really rejoice of goods done by others, and that becomes source of joy, that would be here, even if it could be bought with money, you can't buy that from with your money. Therefore, I should be happy in finding joy in the good things that happen. Through doing this, I shall suffer no more losses in this life, and in shall find the fault of disliking the good qualities will make me unhappy and miserable, and in life I shall find great suffering. Then next he is talking how should you speak to others. When talking, I should speak and so on, and on what is relevant, making the meaning clear and the speech pleasing. Whether it's speaking or whether it's writing, there is a formula which I call it ABC English. Want to improve your English in speaking and writing, you should follow the ABC. A means accurate. Whether you're speaking, writing, number one, it should be accurate. B means brief. Speak too long, people will or they will not understand. Right? Be brief. C means clarity. It should be clear. Into others. Into others. So therefore you should be eligible. Eligible. Only clearly, yeah. So our communication is very important to achieve, again, to achieve success and to achieve speaking this text. There's no like any other and what you are speaking, what you're speaking, right? And then very clear, very accurate. So therefore, when we speak, for example, if when I'm teaching, I speak like this, for example, I read this for you for a long time, so on. And I did therefore action. Did you get all this? So sometimes you're really loud. Therefore, I think, and it is like that, just like village like. Uh, so sometimes it's loud. I mean, depends the situation. If you want to bring together it is teacher, speaker, what you need to do is actually look around to look to these people, and see, especially if you when you look at some people sleeping. Therefore, when I bring this, it will make them. I'm not saying they're sleeping, they're very attentive. Some, These are, and you should not be just speaking to one person, whole, 1 hour. All I'm saying is this, you're just speaking to her, should not be like this, right? So this, you need training. Some speakers, they speak like this, to do this. I think Buddhism is very important. And I just speak. It's a issue. That's with Mahatma Gandhi. He was very shy. He is avoidance. He used to go to the forest and speak to the trees. Imagine these trees are like human beings. Even they are, he said he gave terrified. But gradually he became a good orator. See? So it's really important. The purpose is to make people understand what you're saying. So to do that, be clear, not too fast. So sometimes I'm a little bit fast. Slow. Not so slow that people fall asleep. Right? That's what he's saying. It's the art of speech. He's teaching the art of speech. And talking, I should speak from my heart and on what is there, making the meaning clear and the speech pleasing. I should speak out of desire or hatred, but in gentle tones and in moderation. Then how should you look at people? When looking someone with my eyes, thinking I should really out into anyone from this being, I should look at him with an open heart and love. There's no other motivation. Just look at that person, thinking that they have to really happen, and pray that may they be happy, something like that, and with sincerity, them the talk, right? So look at that person and what she is. कौन सा गरीब लेना है हाँ ये कौन सा मॉडल है just look at that person and look at that person is not staring at right घूर के नहीं देखना है लेकिन gently always being motivated by great aspiration or being motivated by the limiting process more to the great virtues will come. So that means whether it's a positive deed or a negative deed, you do it with very strong motivation, right? Strong motivation. This is in terms of, for example, whenever you do something virtuous, then in terms of the time, you should do it always. Always. That's what always is. When it's something that's good, you should do it always. Yes, in terms of the time. Then in terms of the thought, it should be done with motivated by great aspiration, basically means do that with faith and compassion. Great aspiration, which includes faith and compassion. Right? So motivated by great faith and compassion. Right? And then being motivated by remedial forces, remedial means counter forces, meaning that, for example, if you are practicing giving, then you should, as much as possible, give those things that is useful for other people. Do that, then will become a remedial force against stinginess. Only what happens is when we give something, we normally are giving those things which we don't need. Even unfortunately, even when you give to the Buddha, sometimes we end up with things which you don't need. Right? So therefore, give the best part to the others. This will definitely help reduce your skin. Other ordinary things, if you give, then it's a gift, it's giving, then you reduce your skin. So that giving will not become a counter force. Positive. Right. And in terms of the object towards practicing giving, if the object is here, I work in the fields of that means if the object, an object which has great qualities, like Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, that will have strong qualities. Or if the object is object of benefit, meaning somebody who has been benefiting you, like your parents, or the object is somebody who is really suffering, a sick person, then because of the motivation, right? Because of continuously doing it, the result really big, right? So similarly, when in terms of doing negative things also, if you commit that negativity with strong motivation and aspiration, harm your parents like that, then the negative consequence will be stronger. Then next is saying that whatever practice that you are doing, become knowledgeable, knowledgeable on that. And if you want to do meditation, if you don't know what to meditate and just go into the mountain, you're while physically moving it doesn't make much difference. So therefore you need to prepare for how and what kind of meditation you should do, the process of doing the meditation. Think that the end of it with wisdom and joy, not joy, and faith. Because number one, skills and knowledgeable on the subject, and because knowledge, you will develop faith. So with knowledge and faith, I should get all that, under all that, I will always do this business. And I need not anyone else in any action I take. Because this is such a good thing. This must be done. So therefore you should not do it by yourself alone. The perfection suggests generosity, which means giving. Not more subject, but for a little morality, I should not force it a great gift. Principally, I should consider what will be of the most benefit for others. So, out of the 10 examples, generally speaking, the more ones, like the practice of giving is of less than practice of morality. Practice of morality is less to give a little bit less and patience. But because of that, we should not say, uh, because you say morality is more important, therefore, just for a little morality, if you give up, it's so generally there's a difference, but in depending on the situation. And in all these practices, most important is what you give, what will practice, but you should consider what will be of the benefit for others. When this is well understood, so you should understand in this way, then always try, always, it does strive to help others in the retreat only. After the retreat is over, 4 दिन की चांदनी ये नहीं होना है, ठीक है? Right? So this works, this is always. And if you do this, you will be committed for the well-being of others and always try. Then the first constitute part, that is the Bodhisattva to do action for others. That means if you really follow the Bodhisattva way of life and dedicated self, then there are even some which are earlier restricted can be permitted. So Buddhism is not that strict. You have to do this all the time, depending upon the goal, there are restrictions. Any example? Any example? I don't know. Example, I can say I'm completely dependent on you, right? For example, yes. For example, it says, in order to get long-lasting happiness and to get big suffering, right? I mean, if that is your motivation, and because of this aspiration to get long-lasting happiness, this wish to remove, it's possible that you may encounter and in your happiness and ease. You may also have to experience a bit of suffering. So by seeing all this, the Buddhas who those who follow the Theravada or Theravada tradition or follow the and also in the case of Bodhisattvas stage. So out of this practice of the 7 practices of speech and the body, right out of the 10 non-virtuous actions, 7 non-virtuous actions will body and the speech. So those that are restricted to those who are on the lower deep, and even in the case of some of the bodhisattvas or stage, but when you gradually become a great bodhisattva practitioner, there is no selfishness, where there is no selfishness, then even those among those 7 physical and what which is totally restricted, then practice among those which was restricted to those people who are a little bit more selfish. Now you don't have this selfishness. For example, when he was traveling a big number of merchants to collect rituals, and this person who was sorry, Buddha, he realized that there was among them one person, right, to kill others so that he can possess all the precious gems, gold, both. So seeing this, the Buddha person, he is not protected, right? But your larger aim is to help him, you know, a person is permanent. This is very good because we need to eliminate some really, really nasty wrong words in the world. They never ever do to anybody. I am not courageous to eliminate them, but I do have this thinking that, oh, these people only think. And in fact, when I was giving a public talk in Jerusalem, Israel, I gave a public talk, then number of- after the talk, one tall Israeli guy.
the definition and some examples. So we ended up with some few more examples, like what about the concept of atom and emptiness, and like when astronauts go to the moon, and we ended up like trusting the television and the news.
Mhm.
So where does it falls? Like, is it evident or slightly hidden, or
So that's why, as I mentioned earlier, when I asked you what is there in my pocket, and then you try to figure out, then finally I told you the truth that my pocket is empty, still empty, unfortunately. Still, somebody should give me some money or maybe sweets or something. Nobody's giving anything to us. So I said you have to trust me, right? You have to trust me. The reason you don't trust me without thinking. You trust me because by saying that my pocket is empty, I'm not going to get anything. Or probably my interest is not to get anything. Not necessarily, right? So indirectly you also come up with a reason. For example, about the atoms and other things. If you at the first, you know, level, if you're unable to understand it, you have to trust. But the trust should be there because of this we can trust. So some other reasons, there's no direct reason, or you use some other reasons that will help you trust that person. That is come out.
Rashidalek, Rashidalek Geshala. Yesterday I meet one Russian guy. Yesterday I have met one Russian guy, and he asked me one question that if emptiness means having nothing, then why does the feeling of emptiness feels like something so powerful?
I never said emptiness is nothing. Instead, I said emptiness is not equal to nothingness. Emptiness is fullness. Emptiness is like the zero in mathematics. When we see zero, if you say, I have zero money, it means you have nothing. But in mathematics, without zero, you can't count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. So this number zero is very important and also actually very compassionate. You know why it is compassionate? You know why zero is compassionate? Zero is so compassionate, it tells the other numbers, you go ahead, I'll follow you. You go ahead and I'll follow you and I'll give you value. So for example, to number one, zero says, you go ahead, I'll follow you and I'll give you value. Because the zero followed one, the one become 10. Right? So like that. So that's why, based on my understanding, both this concept of mathematical concept of zero and the philosophical concept of emptiness, both are more or less originated in India. Both more or less having the same implication, right? It's because of emptiness that you're able to talk about so many things. It's because of zero, you can talk about so many other numbers, right?
Thank you.
Julian Tashidele Gishila. So my question is that what realization transform not just your not I mean that what realization transform not just your understanding but the way you live every day.
Say, what are they? I have 5 minutes.
If you had only 5 minutes to get someone towards awakening, so what would you tell them?
It's very easy. Don't just wake up from your sleep, but also wake up from reality. Wake up. I'll tell them, wake up.
Thank you, Gishila.
How do you plant seeds of love between communities?
How?
How do you plant seeds of love between different communities? Different communities. When this conviction for hatred toward each other is so deep seated, and it is fueled by your own government because it is serving their agenda. So in Leh, when I sit elder people and their conversations usually go, it's like religion becomes their whole identity. And so it's like us versus them, as in buy from their stores because they are part of our community. So how do you start from home, from the people closest to you? Yeah, just small
In
beginning.
this world, we had Buddha, we had Jesus, we had so many great teachers. Did they solve all the problems? If it is so easy, they should have solved all the problems. It is not easy. But there is no need to get completely discouraged. Because yes, you're right, there are fanatics, and then make this division, especially in the name of religion. But there are also so many hundred thousands educated people who don't like this division. So they are not on either side. A good number of people. So what is important is education. Education. The more you get education, the more hopefully you will wake up. But it takes such a long time because it's your brain is washed by centuries old of indoctrination. This your religion is best. If you close your eye and do this, you will go to heaven. And then you go to heaven, then people are waiting there to welcome you. It's a really five-star hotel up there. Yeah, things like that. These are all like blind faith. Blind faith. So through education, you need to challenge. You need to, like for example, there's so many people are even challenging the very concept of God. Have you read that book, big book called God is Dead? And of course, there are others who try to deepen it, wrote another book, things like that. But nowadays, unless you are able to prove something, accepting something is not encouraged, right? So that's why that's the reason why philosophy is separated from science, science separated from philosophy. In the West, if you look at the story in the West, not long before there was only Western philosophy, there's no Western science, right? And in the Western philosophy, they talk about many metaphysical things. There is a God up there, hell down there, so many things. Some clever people not being able to understand all this, honestly speaking. Then they said, they are quite gentle. They said, those who are promoting metaphysical things, they said, I'm not saying you are right or wrong, I'm not saying anything. But we are interested in living a nice life of these people who are already born and not interested in talking about metaphysical things, just as the vow and the error paradox that I told you the story of the Buddha. So then gradually this metaphysics from metaphysics came the physics. This generation of thinkers, they kicked out the word matter, and then from there came the physics. So physics is the first branch of science. And then gradually neuroscience, biology, and so many things came out, but they are basically more or less related to physical material things. There's good news, see. So more and more when people get education, they will be able to change. Education is the thing. And you can clearly see, yes, there are blind faith, as I cited this morning, so-called having blind faith among so-called educated people is very dangerous. But generally, majority of the people who have blind faith is those who are less educated, who have less education. Number one. Number two, His Holiness is talking so much about the need to teach secular ethics. Right? And he never said, I'm the first person talking about it. Of course, the need to teach secular ethics was there at the time of Aristotle, Plato, they were all there. Right? But then, if you look at how the secular ethics came into being, there was a time when the world is, the country, sorry, not world, the country or nation is ruled by people in the church, not long before. Right? And when they are ruled by people in the church, again they talk about the intervention of the God and things like that. So again, bunch of intelligent people came and they said, your God may be there, but for ruling the country, we need to talk about things that is visible, that is right there. Right? So therefore, secular ethics. Ethics for this very world. Secular means nothing to do with religion. Not against religion, but secular means Latin word, which means world. World against church. Right? This is how it came into being. So, but that doesn't mean if you adopt secular ethics, you don't need moral ethics. So that's why in any country, whoever is the government has a constitution. The United Nations has a constitution, human rights, liberty, not to kill, not to harm, all these are secular ethics. They are all there. So that makes complete sense. And then if you read the story about the existentialism, the group of humanism, they are all talking about, getting down to earth. It's very, very important. So I think education is the key factor for solving those problems. Yeah.
So my first question is, what's the difference between emptiness and nothing?
Emptiness?
And nothingness.
Nothingness means nothing. There's nothing. There's no water. There's no money. Emptiness is not like nothingness. Emptiness means, you should have understood this by now. Emptiness means empty of independent existence. It's not nothingness. So from that point of view, emptiness means fullness.
So, it's my last question.
Huh?
I mean, to be honest, these days we have seen immigration in a lot of countries, and immigration in a lot of countries, and illegal immigration, to illegally cross the border and all. And I think so it's also in the terms of even if you move legally. So you would have seen what United Kingdom has become now. I would not like to name the community, but now they are slowly losing their culture and all. And I think so at one point of time we have to use violence, maybe some or the other. So do we need to use violence sometimes when it's really super necessary?
That's why, according to Buddhist teaching, according to His Holiness teaching, they're always saying you should protect yourself much in advance. When problems are about to come, you should stop that. That didn't happen because people on this side did not understand the possible problems that will arise. They simply talk about equality, human rights, you let them come, and then gradually, as you said, these immigrants overwhelm them. They are even trying to change the religion of this country, a lot of problems. So this is because of not having wisdom. That's why in Buddhism they say you should have both the head and the heart. If you have only heart, which is not based on head, which is not based on wisdom, people will take advantage of you. This is exactly happening. And similarly with the war, when there is a misunderstanding happening between two countries, right in the initial stage, they should have the courage to engage in dialogue and negotiation and solve it right in the beginning stage. And nobody does that.
Yes.
Then gradually it becomes bigger, bigger, and then there is fighting. Then on each side, several thousands of people are killed. Then it's very difficult to talk about negotiation and dialogue. But the end result of such unchecked fighting is gradually both sides are so tired, then say ceasefire. We are very stupid, really, very stupid. So therefore they say a spark, small spark, dosed at the right time, saves a forest fire. Right? So it should be, solved right in the beginning. So what we are doing is doing something like that. Before we get problem, before we get trouble, let us develop these inner resources. When you actually in your life, when you actually encounter problems, difficulties, if you have these inner resources to pull out, you can solve it. If you don't have that, then killing, how far you are going to kill each other, you see. Yeah.
Julegeshwara.
Mm.
My question is little different.
Mm.
Is there a way to be more energetic in morning, even if we get less sleep?
Mm.
Uh, is there a way to get to be more energetic in morning, even if we get less sleep?
It depends on the quality of sleep. If you get good quality of sleep, 5 hours probably is enough. But if it's not good quality, you go to bed at 8 p.m., then get some kind of sleep until 9, then wake up for another 2 hours, no sleep, then you push yourself another little bit sleep. Waking up, sleeping, waking up, sleeping, then you feel tired, you see. So therefore, I can, and then actually, you should miss 8 hours. Because there's no point, reducing your sleep and try to achieve something. You will not achieve it. When your body and mind is not rested, you are not going to achieve it. So don't torture yourself. Sleep properly. But of course, there are few people who don't need much sleep. I know one Indian official who worked with His Holiness. We become very close. He doesn't need more than 5 hours sleep in the night. So these are exceptions. But for most of us, we really need enough sleep, which nourishes the body. And people who are unable to sleep, my advice is, as soon as you read book, and another way is, when you are having difficulty sleeping, don't think too much. Just try to sleep. And very soon you will have no idea your body is sleeping. But if you keep on thinking, it will activate you more. You will not be able to sleep. And then don't drink coffee or, tea, have thick tea, having a lot of caffeine, Then you get excited, you don't get sleep. But again, it depends on your body. Some people, if they don't drink tea before sleeping, they don't get sleep. But generally speaking, yeah.
Thank you.
And another way of getting good sleep is in the day, if you worked hard, you will get sleep easily. In the day, you don't work and do little bit sleep like this, then in the night you won't get sleep. So that's why the farmers, and the people who do manual work, generally speaking, they have no problem sleeping. They work so hard, do such difficult manual work in the day, and then in the night they enjoy food and then just karata marki so jayenge. And it's us, the so-called Gen Z or the modern people in the modern society who hardly do any physical work, physical exercise, right? So we are not able to sleep. What? Yeah. Okay. Next question.
Tasidele Gesela,
Yeah.
as you spoke in previous sessions, you and the body is different, you and the mind is different. Like it's just a designation given to us. Like when we,
Designation, yeah.
yes, when we are born, we are given our names,
Yeah.
and later on, like you are Hindu, you are Buddhist,
Yeah.
again you are Indian, Chinese.
Yeah.
So, like you are a student or teacher. My question is simple: who am I?
I think you're a human being.
No, it's
It's very simple. You're a human being. You're Indian. You're a young man.
but we are. This is a designation given to us, text.
Yeah.
But actually,
the
then
reason
who
that
am
you
I?
give the designation is so that you're able to communicate. Otherwise, everything will be mixed up. You'll not be able to say who is who. So, purpose of giving designation and name is so that you don't mix up.
But actual truth is what? Like, who am I?
Huh? Who am I?
Hmm.
I said you're a human being. Don't you think you're a human being?
Yes, I am.
So what else you want?
And one more question.
Huh?
Like, I need more understanding on emptiness in simple language with some examples.
In simple language. In simple language, space. You know space?
Yes.
What do you mean by space?
Space is like emptiness.
Yeah. Best example. So space means anything that is free from obstruction. So similarly, emptiness means anything that is free from independent existence. And I think I told you or the previous group, this question was asked to the Buddha. Can you give me an example of emptiness? The Buddha said space.
Thank you.
Space like looks empty, but it's the space which gives you all these possibilities. It's the space that gives you construct this nice building. It's the space that gives you the opportunity to stand, to walk, to run, right? But if you try to okay, enough, yeah. Let's
Geshe-la, is it a Buddha statement
Huh?
that attachment is the cause of suffering?
Yes.
But how is it possible to get detached from our loved one who love us unconditionally, like our parents?
Yeah.
So that's my question.
Yeah, because your parents love you unconditionally, you should also love them unconditionally.
So is it not an attachment?
There's no attachment.
Okay.
But you love them unconditionally, but if you love them because they are your parents, that's the attachment. You link them to you. I love them because they are my parent, then attachment comes. You can say they are my parent in general, but don't love them because they are a drop of oil that sits on a piece of white cloth. If a drop of oil sits on a piece of white cloth, it will be quite difficult to remove it. So similarly, when you develop attachment, you get obsessed with that object, and you start there, not being able to move from there. There's a very beautiful story I'll tell you, which is written in the book by Robin Sharma. How many of you read the books by Robin Sharma? Some of you? Who will cry when I die? The monk who sold Ferrari. There are so many books by him, right? So, in one of this, I think it's in the book, Who Will Cry When I Die, I think. I read some of these books a long time before. So there is this, it tells this story of a father who had bought a brand new car, right? Brand new car. And he was, of course, full of attachment to this brand new car. Just like any of us, when you have bought a brand new car, you make sure that it's covered. I call it honeymoon period. You make sure you cover and make sure that nobody touches it. So the father was doing exactly that. And he had a little daughter. This little daughter, out of her innocence, just walks near the car and scribbles something, writes something. The father was very angry. What are you writing? He pushed her, and the little girl dies. He did not mean to kill her, but because of his attachment and obsession to the car, he pushed the little girl, and she died. So the only thing now he can do is what this little girl has written on the car. The little girl has written on the car, Papa, I love you. This is a story, but very touching. Meaning that if out of attachment you do things, you can do this kind of great damage to even your loved ones. That's the story. Yeah.
One last question.
Yeah. Good news is about to come.
Shantideva Geshe-la,
Yes.
as in verse 21, as it says, like monks should be like aware of women, right? You said that?
Monks should be
Aware of women or
Beware.
beware of women.
monks, especially because they said they want to remain celibate because of that.
then why-
Otherwise, everybody should be alert with everybody.
Then like why do some Rinpoche marry?
Huh?
Why do some Rinpoche?
So some Rinpoches, maybe those Rinpoches who married, they are actually not monk. So they are pretending. They, unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this. I'm going to say this now. Bitter truth.
So like they are not
Some Rinpoches. Now I'm going to be a little bit, revolutionary, revolting kind of attitude. There are people who not able to be no monk. For example, the Rinpoche, some Rinpoche may be a monk earlier. Now he gets this robe, marries, having children, but he will still continue to wear the robe. That's very confusing. So therefore he wants to take advantage of the whole world. He wants to maintain his name and get all the offerings and also enjoy the wife and children or whatever. So that's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong.
So they are not
Then there are others, Rinpoche, such as Skyadtsal Rinpoche. He's not a monk. He's a lay person. So you can marry. That's a different system. Right?
One school of Buddhism, I heard that the son of the Rinpoche also becomes a Rinpoche.
Yeah, that's like the second lineage that I told you. All his students are becoming the lineage holder here.
I have one last question. So that if all things are Buddha nature, why do some people become more cruel?
More what?
Why do some people become more cruel?
More what? Cruel.
Despite
Such a simple question. This is like asking if all human beings are same, why some are intelligent, why some are intelligent. Don't ask me that. Yeah, because although you look, even the Buddha nature is one thing. Buddha nature, having Buddha nature means that your mind has the capacity to become the best, to become the Buddha. That doesn't mean that you are not covered and polluted by all negative emotions. So some have very heavy negative emotions, some have less negative emotions. So some are violent, some are not violent. That's good. Thank you.
Food offering prayer. Group number 5, food offering prayer.
Sanghyas Yontantra Page number 45. 45.